of material in animals. Circulatory system, blood and its composition, blood vessels and its type, pulse rate, heart and its chambers, heartbeat and transportation of materials in plants. Transportation in plants and animals. All organisms need food, water and oxygen for survival. These materials are required by every cell of our human body. Thus, they are needed to be transported throughout our body. Further, animals need to transport waste materials to certain body parts from where they can be removed or excreted. From the above information, it is clear that animals require a transportation system through which these materials can be transported from one place to another. But what is the transportation system? How does it function? What are the components or organs involved in that transportation system? In this presentation, we are going to discuss all of this in detail. Transportation in animals. The transportation system in animals is known as the circulatory system, which comprises of heart, blood vessels and blood. This is a diagram of the circulatory system. We can see here is the heart, and these red colored wires or red colored substance is the artery, then blue is the veins, and this whole together comprises the circulatory system. Circulatory system. The circulatory system is a system that consists of blood vessels that carry blood away from and towards the heart. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, and veins carry blood back to the heart. Circulatory system is responsible for the transportation of oxygen and food nutrients throughout our body. It's also responsible for helping us in removing waste materials such as carbon dioxide from our body. Now, let's look into the components of circulatory system in detail. The first component of circulatory system is the blood. Blood is the fluid which flows in blood vessels. It transports substances like digested food from the small intestine to the other parts of the body. It carries oxygen from the lungs to all the cells of our body. It also transports waste for removal from the body. So, composition of blood. Blood is not one single substance. It's a mixture of many substances. Blood includes the following substances in fixed ratio. Plasma is approximately 55% of the blood. Red blood cells, approximately 45% of the blood. White blood cells, which is approximately less than 1%, and platelets, which are also approximately less than 1%. We can see this in the given diagram. Composition of blood. Plasma. Plasma is the fluid part of the blood in which different types of cells are suspended. Red blood cells or RBCs. RBCs contain a pigment called hemoglobin which gives it its color. Hemoglobin binds with oxygen and transports it to all the parts of our body. Thus, without hemoglobin, it would be difficult to provide oxygen efficiently to all our body parts. White blood cells or WBCs. WBCs are an important component of blood. It helps us to fight germs that enter our bloodstream through injuries like cut. They are also part of our immune system and lymphatic system. Platelets. Platelets are pieces of cells that are present in our bloodstream and are responsible for the clotting of torn or damaged blood vessels to prevent excessive blood loss and entry of germs. Second component of circulatory system, blood vessels. There are certain vessels or cylindrical structures that are responsible for transport of materials from one part to another. Those vessels are known as blood vessels. Blood vessels' primary function is to transport oxygen and nutrients from the heart and the small intestine respectively to all the other body parts, including other internal organs like kidneys and the brain. There are three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. Artery. The blood vessels that carry certain substance from the heart to all or any body part is known as arteries. Arteries usually carry oxygenated blood, but with one exception, the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs for oxygenation. But as mentioned earlier, since pulmonary artery is a blood vessel that goes from the heart to all other body parts, it's called as an artery and not a vein. Since the blood flow is rapid and at a high pressure, arteries have thicker and elastic walls. Veins. The blood vessels that carry certain waste substances from the body parts back to the heart for purification are known as veins. Veins usually carry deoxygenated blood, but here also there is one exception, that is the pulmonary vein. After oxygenation in the lungs, the pulmonary vein carry oxygenated blood back to the heart. But as mentioned earlier, since pulmonary vein is a blood vessel that can come back to the heart from other body part, that is the lungs, it is called as a vein even though it carries oxygenated blood. Veins have thinner walls as blood pressure in veins are lower or is low, and valves are present to prevent black flow of blood. Capillary per capillaries. Capillary is the smallest type of blood vessel. A capillary connects an arteriole, that's a small artery, to a venule, a small vein, to form a network of blood vessels in almost all parts of the body. The wall of a capillary is thin and leaky, due to which the capillaries are involved in exchange of fluids and gases between the tissues and the blood. So in the given diagram, we can see this is an artery from which an arteriole is separated, and it connects with a venule which again connects it to the veins. So this is the part where the exchange of fluid and gases take place between the tissues and the blood. Pulse rate. When we place our middle and index finger on our right hand on the inner side of our left wrist, we can feel a throbbing movement. This throbbing is called the pulse, and it is caused by the blood flowing in the arteries. The number of times the pulse beats in 1 minute is termed as the pulse rate. A resting person usually has a pulse rate of 72 to 80 beats per minute. The pulse rate increases when we exercise due to the increase in heartbeat. The next component of the circulatory system is the heart. The heart is an organ which beats continuously to act as a pump for transport of blood. Heart works non-stop since it has an important role, that is to circulate blood in our body. Without circulation of blood in our body, we cannot survive. The heart is located in the chest bar thoracic cavity, with its lower tip slightly tilted towards the left. Our heart is roughly the same size of our closed fist. But how does the heart circulate the blood to all the body parts? But before that, let's see the 4 chambers of the heart. Chambers of the heart. The heart is divided into 4 chambers, that is the left atrium, right atrium, left ventricle and right ventricle. The left atrium and left ventricle is in the left side of the heart, whereas the right atrium and right ventricle is in the right side of the heart. These sides are divided vertically by the pericardium. We can see here this is the right atrium and this is right ventricle. And same on the left side we can see this is the left atrium and this is the left ventricle and this is divided by the pericardium. Circulation of blood in the heart. Let's see the circulation of blood in the heart. Oxygenated blood from the lungs reaches the heart via the pulmonary vein. The oxygenated blood enters into the left atrium of the heart. From here, the left atrial muscles contract, pushing oxygenated blood into the left ventricle via the bicuspid mitral valve. Then the left ventricular muscles contract, propelling the oxygenated blood into the aorta artery, which is an artery, via the aortic valve at a high pressure. Note, aorta is the largest artery in the human body. It further branches into small arteries, thus distributing blood to all body parts. After the oxygen in the blood is used up by the body parts, the oxygenated blood travels back to the heart via veins. The deoxygenated blood enters the right atrium via the superior and inferior vena cava. The right atrial muscles then contract, pushing deoxygenated blood into the right ventricle via the tricuspid valve. Now the right ventricular muscles contract, propelling the deoxygenated blood into the pulmonary artery. This blood travels through the pulmonary artery to the lungs for oxygenation and back to the heart via pulmonary vein, and this cycle continues. So let's now try to visualize the circulation of blood in the heart. So first, the oxygenated blood from the lungs travels through the pulmonary vein. Then it makes its way into the left atrium. From the left atrium, the atrial muscles contract, due to which the mitral valve or bicuspid valve opens and the blood flows to the left ventricle. Here again the left ventricular muscles contract, propelling the oxygenated blood through the aorta. Then after it's used up by the bodies, the oxygenated blood enters our heart through the inferior and superior vena cava. So it travels into the right atrium, from which it travels into the right ventricle through the tricuspid valve. Then from the right ventricle it goes to the pulmonary artery, which goes to the lungs for oxygenation of the deoxygenated blood. And this cycle continues. Heartbeat. The walls of the chambers of the heart are made up of muscles, that is cardiac muscles. These muscles contract and relax rhythmically to circulate blood in our body. This rhythmic contraction is followed by a sound. That sound is called as heartbeat. Heartbeat can be heard using stethoscope. Stethoscope is a device to amplify the sound of the heartbeat. This is the image of a stethoscope. Now we have seen the transportation that takes place in animals. Now let's see the transportation, how it occurs in plants. We have seen how transportation takes place in animals, but are animals the only one to possess such a system? The answer is no. Plants too have a transportation system of their own. Their transportation system consists of pipe-like vessels made up of vascular tissues and bundles, which we will look at in detail. Plants absorb water and minerals from the soil through roots. These roots have root hairs. The root hairs increase the surface area of the root for more absorption of water and minerals. Plants have pipe-like structures to transport water and nutrients from the soil to all the other parts. These structures are made up of special tissues forming the vascular tissues. Note, tissue is a group of cells that perform a specialized function in an organism. There are two types of vascular tissue for different functions. Xylem. The xylem is the vascular tissue specialized for transporting water and minerals from the root to all the other plant parts. Phloem. The phloem is a vascular tissue specialized for transporting food compounds throughout the plant body. So here is the image of xylem and phloem. From the roots, the plant takes in water and minerals which is transported throughout the plant body through xylem. Whereas after photosynthesis occurs in plant, the food that is produced is spread to all over the plant body by the phloem. Thank you.